All right, evening. Another Q&A session. Yeah, it's been a busy week. We've got something exciting this weekend to look forward
We
to.
have. I think that's getting us through, isn't it? To the
Yeah,
getting us into the weekend.
yeah, and it's what was it? It was 5 weeks yesterday to Christmas. That's scary.
Yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. Definitely not.
No, not ready at all. But yeah, that's I think the next couple of Q&As we might sort of look at strategies for coping around Christmas and things. I think that's a good one to kind of look at in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah.
But we'll get stuck in with the questions. We've got a few this week.
Yeah. So starting with one from one of the Shaping Up members of obviously we set the programs weekly. If for any reason you fall behind with the workouts, is it better to try and catch up or to just draw a line and then move forwards with them?
I mean, me personally, it's a good question, and if I use last week as an example, so and this week to be fair, my weeks have been really busy, and it's just because of the weekends are busy. I've had to rearrange clients, which means that my normal workout days, Tuesday and Wednesday, they're just back to back, so I've not had time. And last week and this week, I have missed a couple of workouts, and it does mean that I've had to rearrange. So basically, what I've done, and this is kind of what I would generally recommend, is if you've missed a workout, do that one, because the way we write the workouts is it's to ensure that you kind of hit the full body. So if you find that you're missing one workout regularly, so let's say you've scheduled, say, a leg day, for example, on a particular day, and you find that you're missing that one regularly, then my advice would be to, first of all, if you miss it, do that one next, and then do the, just shift them along, so that if you miss one at the end, you've kind of done the majority of the main workout. So what I tend to do is, if you're doing 4 a week, it's push, pull, legs, full body. Well, you might do, let's say you've missed the pull workout, so you do that the next day, or when you would schedule in your legs workout, and then do the legs workout when the full body would be. So you kind of shift them along. If you notice that you're missing a day regularly, then change the day. If it's that your routine has changed so that it's not possible to fit that workout in, change your routine so that you switch it around a little bit. But yeah, effectively, if you miss a workout, try and do that one and then move them along one. And if you miss one at the end, you miss one at the end. It's just draw a line under it effectively. Don't try and squeeze everything in unless you can do that. But
Yeah.
if it becomes difficult and you think, actually, I'm really, really struggling to squeeze everything in, do what you can. And I think it's just remembering the phrase that I use a lot is meet yourself where you're at. If you can't currently do 4 workouts a week, do 3. If you're struggling to do 3 a week, do 2. So if you're on 3 workouts a week, it's normally push, pull, full body. Well, do the push and pull. Or if you're going to regularly miss 3 a week, speak to us, and then we'll put 2 full body workouts in for you,
Yeah.
so that your muscle groups are getting hit at least once or twice across the week. So yeah, it's if you are missing it, shift them along, and then if you have to miss one at the end, you miss the one at the end, but you've done the main body of the workouts. And then if it's something that regularly happens, then change the routine. And if you need changes to the workouts, then speak to your coach, and we can change that for you. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, if you're regularly finding that you're trying to cram 3 workouts in 3 days at the end of the week, you're not going to get the most out of them. You're gonna end up feeling wiped out, and it just becomes hard. So don't meet yourself where you're at. Don't try and force yourself to do it if it's really, really difficult.
Perfect. And then next one is struggling to get focused with some setbacks in place as well. So how to manage that?
I think the key thing with that one is just take it right back to basics, really right back to basics. And it's if you lots of setbacks, whether it's illness, these things will happen. That's the first thing to kind of accept and understand. If it's illness, if it's work, I've used the analogy of the triangle before, and I used to use this a lot when I was coaching you. Um,
All the time, daily reminders.
and it's kind of, so think about things in a triangle. There's a trilogy of things, and each side represents a part of your life. One side's going to be family, one side's going to be work, career, and the other side is you, right? So I always put me at the base. So you've got family, friends, and social side, you've got the work side, and then you. And at some point, something's going to pull you in one direction or the other. If you're busy at work, you're going to be pulled into that, and it means that the other two sides are going to have to take a little bit of a back seat. But one thing I would always say is, don't completely ignore them. Don't ever let one side go completely, because if you've got a triangle, if you remove one side, the triangle collapses. If you forget about you, the triangle's going to collapse. If it works pulling in one way, and you still, you forget about family and friends, the triangle's going to collapse. So you have to try and, I'm not saying you've got to try and get everything all in at once. Obviously sometimes you are going to be pulled in one direction, but it means then you kind of have to let other things kind of slip a little, but don't let one thing slip completely. So it could be, excuse me, if work's pulling in you one direction, then it might be that some of the socializing needs to come down a little bit, so that you can still focus on yourself a little bit. It might be that if you've got family kind of pulling you, there's something going on with the family that you need to put more energy into. That's fine. And then you can maybe say, right, I'm not going to give my all to work, for example, or I might skip a couple of workouts, but I'm still going to get my steps in, still going to, it's focusing on what you can do. And again, we come back to that phrase, meet yourself where you're at. If it's not possible to get all of your workouts in for the full lot, then see what you can do. It could be that you do 10 or 15-minute workouts instead of the full hour. It could be that you miss one of the workouts and you just make sure you go for a walk instead. Focus on what you can do, and remember, every little counts. In
Yeah.
terms of your health, every little bit that you can do counts. It might be that, okay, I can't fit all my workout. If you're ill, for example, and you can't fit the strength workouts in, or a cardio workout in, you could probably go for a walk, even if it's just 5-10 minutes. That's something. Or you could focus on making sure that you eat good nutritious food, so that you're giving the body, rather than looking at kind of, oh, I need to hit my calories, you're focusing on the quality of food that you're getting in, so that you give the body the nutrition it needs to repair itself. Just focus on what you can do, and understand that these hard times are not going to last forever, and you will get back to full fitness, or things will settle down, and you can then focus on those things again. It's not forever. I think that's the key thing. But remembering that triangle analogy, yes, some things are going to pull you in one direction, but try and do what you can in the other stuff. If you can't go out and socialize all the time, you can give somebody a call, you can drop them a message, just to say, oh, and most people are understanding with that. If you need to kind of say, right, I can't do that, most people are understanding. And if they're not, then you kind of got to think, actually, are they the sort of people I need to be around? And that's actually another important conversation. It's one I had with somebody last week. Sometimes doing this health and fitness journey and trying to focus and prioritize yourself, it makes you realize that sometimes your social circle isn't serving you. And that's sometimes a scary thought. The person I spoke to, it takes part in some of the nutrition seminars that I do, and one of the things that she said is that actually it has made me change my social circle, and she's now got a new group of friends who share her goals and share her interests, and are pushing her forward. And as a consequence, the progress she's made is phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's down 2.5 stone in the last 12 months, just because she's made some changes that sometimes, she was being pulled in the social direction all the time, and she's made changes so that she can now combine social with herself, and it serves her better. So yeah, sometimes it means that you've got to change your kind of surroundings, but I think in the first instance, focus on, excuse me, my voice is going, focus on what you can. Um,
Hmm.
you focus on what you can do, however small, whether it's, you know, trying to get an extra portion of fruit and veg in per day, whether it's trying to get a 10-minute walk in, whether it's doing 15 minutes of a workout instead of the full hour. Focus on what you can do, and it will come back. We're not motivated all the time. You know, we're people who've got fairly well established exercise routines, fairly well established nutrition routines. And I know that you were the same as me. We still have days where we go, "Ah, I really don't want to do this."
Yeah, I had the conversation earlier because I planned to get in, do my bike ride, do this, and I was like, it's cold, it's miserable. My bike doesn't fit on my current turbo trainer, so sadly I need to buy a new one. But I couldn't be bothered to go and get the other bike out, and I was like, I'm really frustrated because I know what I want to do and I know what I need to do, but to bring myself to actually do it, well, I really don't want to. And like we all have days like it.
Yeah,
So instead, I know that I enjoy swimming. That's fine. I haven't got to. I've just got to drive to the pool, so I'll still make sure I get my swim in.
yeah.
And then in the morning, she says she's going to go out in the cold and do a bike ride outside so I can use my new bike. But we'll see. That is the plan. We'll see
Hmm.
how cold it is in the morning. But yeah, we all have days like it.
Yeah,
And it's completely normal. You know,
yeah.
if you see anyone online that looks like they're motivated 24/7, chances are they're absolutely not.
And I mean, that feeds into one of the questions we're going to go into in a bit. But yeah, it's remembering that, you know, some of these people that you see online who seem like they're motivated, like the fitness professionals, they
Yeah,
have days like that, and that's normal. Remember, your results and your outcomes are a direct result of what you do consistently, not
yeah,
what you do every day, but what you do consistently. You know, and some days you'll do it, some days you'll manage it, some days you won't. So if you find that you are lacking focus, understand that that's normal, but just keep doing what you can do. However small. Remember, trying to improve by 1% every day is absolutely fine. You don't need to do 100% every day.
yeah.
And I think I've seen another one, if you've only got 40% to give,
I
and you
put this in the group the other day. Yeah,
then you've given 100% that day,
yeah.
and that's
If
absolutely
you've given
fine.
everything you've got, no
Yeah,
matter how little that is, you know,
yeah,
you've still done your best, haven't you? And I think it is, especially this time of the year, a lot more people do struggle. And it's like you say, just be kind to yourself, do what you can, and just know that it's completely normal. But like I say,
absolutely.
keep consistent with it where you can, and you'll still see the progress. And like I say, it'll pass, and you'll get back to where you're at in terms of your routine and everything like that.
And part of it's learning that to feel okay that you've missed a workout, and that took me
Yeah,
a long time to learn, because when I started this, I was of the all or nothing mindset, and it took me a while to get out of that. But it's
yeah,
okay to miss a workout because it's not the end of the world. Yeah. So do what you can. I think that's the key thing.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and then the next one that, like I said, this was more of a statement, but it was a really good one, wasn't it? About like a really good one for people to remember is, you know, going on holiday, enjoying your holiday, and then coming back, getting straight back to your usual routine and remembering non-negotiables.
Yeah, I mean holidays, and this is something that's relevant for this time of year as well, with Christmas coming up, and especially in December. I mean, if everybody else's December is like mine, it probably is. You know, you've got family events. We've got in December we've got two family meals before Christmas. Then obviously you've got Christmas. We've got birthdays that we're going out to. Mine and Rosie's anniversary is next weekend as well. So we've been together 5 years. So we've got something every single weekend all the way up to Christmas. You know, obviously this weekend you and I are going to the MNU live event.
Yeah,
Um, but it's kind of understanding that these things happen, and if you're going on holiday, you're going away on holiday, that's fine. These things happen, and you can go and enjoy it and relax a little bit. And then when you come back, and as Gemma said in her statement, it's remembering what your non-negotiables are. And sometimes you might need, it might be hard, but you might just go, right, I just need a week where I'm going to refocus and work hard, and just give yourself a week. Sometimes that's all you need. Just say, right, I'm going to really focus this week and work at it. And then that gets you back into the routine. But remembering what your small non-negotiables are.
yeah,
And it could be that you have protein with every meal, something as simple as that. or you're going to go out for a 10-minute walk every day, or you're going to do 15 minutes of the workout instead of an hour. Again, it's going back to the first one. It's the same as if you're losing focus. It's the same process. It's
Yeah.
just doing the non-negotiables and having those, because the more you do them, the more they form part of your habits and your routines, and the easier it becomes to get back into it. And it's just remembering that's it. And we all struggle with it. If I have a week off, I struggle with getting back into the routine. Absolutely. But it's just going right, one step at a time. And I think that's the key thing. It's one step at a time.
Yeah.
And just take it one day at a time.
100%. Yeah, definitely. And then tips for, well, I guess it's more another statement, wasn't it? Like you were saying, of conversation you've been having with clients of, doing these like boot camps or joining any kind of fitness program and comparing your progress to everyone else's and getting discouraged, that that you're comparing your journey to theirs and that you don't feel like you're doing as well.
I think one of the things I said to the person who said this was like, you could do exactly the same workouts, you could eat exactly the same way as somebody else, you could do absolutely identical things. Your results will not be the same,
Yeah.
and that's the thing to remember. We are all individual, and it really, these what I eat in a day things, they're all right to give you tips and ideas, but the way they're sold is like, if you eat like this, you can look like me. Absolutely not. No. um what we see in social media, what we see on other people, these are the highlight reels, and just because somebody does a certain thing does not mean that you are going to get the same results as them. You've got to look at, the only way you can measure progress is look at how you've improved yourself from one day to the next. Look back at, and it's something that I've done recently, look back at where you were, where you've come from, and where you are now. And that's something that's good to do periodically as well. One of the my online clients, my other online clients, Laura, who as well, um, her progress is phenomenal.
Yeah.
6 stone, I think she said.
Yeah. Just
Six,
over now, isn't it? Yeah.
phenomenal. Um, but she, on a day-to-day basis, quite often, week-to-week basis, when we have a check-in, she's like, I'm not making progress. And I'm going, well, hang on a minute. Just go back to you 2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
6 stone heavier, and look at where you are now. And she's like, oh yeah. And that's it. Just look at where you started and where you've come to. And it might not, for her, it was weight. It's now her goals changing. So we're looking at progressing in terms of strength and building muscle. Um, but whatever your goal is, look at where you started from and then come back to this. So, I've done recently, and I've said this before on these calls. My heaviest, I was 136 kilos, and I dropped down to 73. That's phenomenal difference, and I can clearly see the change there. But for me now, I'm currently 86 kilos, so I'm 13 kilos heavier, 2 stone heavier. Um, and it's frustrating because you think, oh, I used to be this weight and I'm now this weight. But I look back at photos from when I was that weight, and body fat wise, I'm the same, but I'm clearly 2 stone heavier because that's what the scales say. So the progress there for me is that I must have put muscle on. I'm
Mm.
struggling. Like I'm not putting muscle on. I can't. No matter what I do, I'm not putting muscle on. I look back at that photo and I can see the difference. I can see that my arms are different, my legs are different, my chest is different. Looking back at where you started from and where you are now is one of the best ways of noticing progress. Forget other people.
Yeah.
It's you. Have you made progress? Have you changed? My eating habits are so much better. My relationship with food is so much better. My relationship with alcohol is so much better. All of these things. Look at not just your scale weight, not just, your body shape, but look at all those things. Like 8 years ago, I could barely lift 100 kilos off the ground.
Yeah.
Now I can lift double that. I couldn't squat for toffee, and I really struggled. Just mobility wise, I couldn't
Yeah.
actually squat down, and now I can comfortably squat and sit in that squat position, and that's something that I couldn't do even 4 years ago. You know, my shoulder mobility was shocking. I used to suffer with aches and pains. I don't. Look at all these other measures of progress. You know, my fitness levels are so much better. That's the way that you've got to look at it. So, you know, rather than comparing yourself, because this person was looking at people who've done like an 8-week boot camp and has lost like a stone and a half,
Yeah,
and they've gone, but I haven't lost that in 8 weeks. I'm like, yeah, but you've lost half a stone and you've done it in such a way that is sustainable. You can keep doing it. These people who do these 8-week boot camps that lose a stone and a half, that weight is not going to stay off.
yeah,
It's probably going to all go back on and some. And I see it a lot. I see them, all these yo-yoing. Don't compare yourself to them. Look at what you're, look at what you're doing and compare yourself to where you were a
yeah,
week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, and do it that way.
absolutely.
So
And I
much.
guess that brings it on to and links in with breaking the cycle of negative self-talk and developing more body positivity.
I talked about this with my coach today, because it's something that we kind of do. It's not just with body positivity. It's like the way you talk to yourself about
Mm.
career and everything. Um, the phrase he used was "fake it till you make it."
Yeah. Mm.
Which because and I was laughing at him. And he says, "Well, he says the thing is when you talk down upon yourself, why is that not fake? You know, why is that? What makes that real?" He said,
Mm.
because actually what you're doing is you're kind of faking it and then fulfilling. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
You're talking down on yourself, whether it's about, oh God, I've got some fat here, or oh, I'm not really good at work and I don't know why I've got this job, and it's that imposter syndrome, which a lot of us suffer with. He says, but actually that is faking it till you make it, but in a negative way. He says, and what you've got to try and do is flip it round and use positive language and fake it till you make it that way. And he says the first thing is self-awareness. Be aware of when you're doing it, and catching yourself and stopping yourself. And you're going, well, hang on a minute. No, this is not true. This is just
Yeah.
my brain telling me it. Does not mean it's true. So the first thing is kind of stop it and challenge the thoughts, especially if it's negative talk about a body image. Would you say it to a friend? You wouldn't go up to a friend and go, oh God, you're looking a bit chunky there. And perhaps if you did, then maybe you need to kind of just have a word with yourself. But it's kind of if you wouldn't say it to a friend, then why are we saying it to ourselves?
Yeah.
We're far harsher to ourselves than we are to anybody else. Um, but again, I think catching yourself and then flipping it around, and then also focus on good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
you said yourself, it's like focus on what you can do, focus on what your body's capable of.
Yeah.
Before we
Absolutely.
sort of recorded, you were saying like you say what you were saying. What
Yeah. So I was saying like it's really, but like I think it's something that a lot of people do focus on. Like we get really caught up on scale weight, the size of our bodies and that being the most important thing. And there's so many things. Like a quote that I love is like, how much you weigh is the least like interesting thing about you. Like there's so much more that you bring to the table as a person.
Yeah.
And for me, like I say, I was saying before we came on that I don't remember the last time I weighed myself. One thing I do know is that I am heavier than I was definitely when I was at my lightest, but my focus isn't on my body weight. And now all of my goals that I have are all performance based. And actually, I don't, and it's something that I hadn't really thought about until this, is that I don't really look in the mirror anymore and tear myself apart. But I also don't look in the mirror and think like, oh wow, your legs look really thin, or your waist looks really small. Like, I don't look at it in a positive or a negative way. I'm just like, yeah, that outfit looks good today, or oh dear, like right now I'm just in my comfies, don't really care. But I don't really look at myself in that way anymore, because my focus is 100% on what my body can do. And I think a lot of that has been training for endurance sports, because that obviously takes a lot more out of you. And I think my biggest mindset change was after I broke my ankle, because my focus was just on what I can do now. Like I look back to then and what I absolutely could not do. you can like stand on one foot for more than half a second to now like being able to do triathlons. So I think if you flick what your motivation is and what your goal is and what you're achieving, and don't just have it on, I want to weigh X amount, because as you build muscle, that scale may not move as much.
Yeah.
Take that focus away, take that out of it, and give yourself a performance-based goal.
Yeah.
You can still have body composition goals, absolutely, but I just think that if you switch it to a performance-based goal, you're less caught up on like your body image and what it looks like, because you just think, look at what I can do.
Yeah.
I'm incredible. Look at what I can do. Like you said about, lifting 200 kilos up off the floor, you weren't able to do that before. It's nothing to do with how you look. It's that strength that you've built and what you've worked hard for.
Yeah.
And I do think it makes a huge difference to mindset.
And I know the whole point of this program is is getting you to form habits, good
Mm.
routines and habits. But
Yeah.
actually, one of the things that comes as a consequence of this, and this I've found a lot with talking, and a lot of my clients do this as well, and talking to the girls who've doing the shaping up and have done that for a few times, things change, their focuses change, and they become happier as well. I know I'm happier. I'm in a fat loss phase at the moment because I'm trying to fit into a suit for a wedding, but I know I'm actually happier, a couple of pounds heavier,
Yeah.
um, eating a little bit more, and not worrying too much. I'm maintaining weight, absolutely, but focusing on getting stronger. I'm much happier when I can lift more, I can do more, run more.
Yeah.
Um, and actually understanding that and flipping that round and changing the focus, that can help. And for some people, actually, if they focus on getting stronger in the gym and building that routine, if their initial goal was weight loss, that may come anyway as a result,
Yeah.
a direct result of eating better, sleeping better, moving better, lifting more. So these things come along, but having that as your sole focus, or your body size and shape as your sole focus, it can be quite a debilitating thing. So, sometimes just changing that focus and focusing on, like you say, what you can achieve and how you feel, not just kind of about yourself, but how you feel internally, physically, and more alert. That makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
And again, going back to that comparison, stop comparing yourself to,
Yeah.
again, social media is a highlight reel.
And also, the edits people can do online now are so scary.
Yeah,
They're
massively
terrifying. So like really hard to
scary.
spot. It's getting even more difficult. That actually they probably don't even look like that. If it's not someone that you know personally,
Yeah,
they might not actually look like that. And posing can make a huge difference. They know how the lighting works. They know how to angle themselves. I don't have a clue. I can't take a good picture to save my life, but they do. And I think, yeah, you need to stop. And like I say, it's absolutely okay to have like a body weight goal. Absolutely it is, but don't try and, like say, don't make that your main
yeah,
goal, because if you see the scales go up or you feel like you don't look good when you look in the mirror that day, it can really change that mindset, and to be like, either be like, well, sod it, what's the point? Or you can start that negative self-talk again, and it can really spar you in a negative way. Whereas if you focus on, pushing yourself in other ways, it brings everything else with it.
yeah. And I think also, going back to something we said about your social circle and circle of friends, do a little bit of uh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cull.
Audit. Yeah, a cult. Yeah. But do an audit of your social media feed.
Yeah.
Do an of like, because on Facebook, you might have loads of different friends on Facebook. Like, you might have 400 friends, but how many of
Yeah.
those do you actually really speak to? And sometimes on social media, I've done this recently. There's a lot on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's called, and all the negative stuff on there. And I've just unfollowed anybody who puts
Yeah.
negative stuff that doesn't make me feel good. I just go, right, I'm not following you. And on Instagram, I follow a lot of not body positivity stuff, but the people I follow, their focus is about health and fitness as opposed to
Mhm.
weight loss. It's focusing on how do you feel, how are you fueling yourself, what are you capable of, and it makes things a lot easier because then you feel better about yourself. So, if you are struggling with some of that self-image, surround yourself and put your social media stuff with people who are going to boost your mood, not make you think, oh my God, I look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. It's seriously, it does
Yeah,
it does work. And I think the last one, and this is something that we do encourage people to do, is practice gratitude.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
every day think about what you're grateful for, because that reminds you that there are lots of positives in your life.
There are. And I think there's a lot of negatives in the world. There's a lot that isn't. But actually, if you can just think of what you've got to be grateful for and what's positive in your life, it makes such a difference, definitely.
I'm grateful I don't live in the United States. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, there's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after who I've seen him appointing to, things like the health department and various other bits and bobs. Oh, geez. Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be fun the next 4 years over there.
I think everywhere will be at the moment. I don't know if we're in a much better boat at the minute, but yeah, we'll just see what happens. But yeah, there's always something to be grateful for. And I think, yeah, everyone has different experiences in life. Everyone has different, different things that they're dealing with day to day. And yeah, just be kind to yourself. Remember what you've got that's good and think of focuses. Try and think of a goal that's not just solely based on your body weight.
Yeah.
And it will take a while, but see how it will change your mindset as well, like towards like different things. You will still have days where you don't want to train, trust me.
Yeah.
But it will overall, it will make a difference.
And it does get easier over time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think before we go into politics, we should end there.
Definitely. So yeah, we've got the M&U live on Saturday. So we've got quite a few different guest speakers there, all focused on sports performance nutrition.
Yes.
So there'll certainly be some bits from that we can bring back over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, planning for Christmas, because Christmas parties will be happening soon, like you say, family meals and social events. So some bits we'll cover there as well.
Yeah, we've just been choosing food options on menus
Amazing.
for three different things. Yeah,
Yeah,
three different things.
I've done my Christmas do one, so that's all. That's in. That's been submitted.
Yeah.
Just need to get my dress.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go and have a look for a dress.
Think of that one. We're just waiting for payday.
All right, then, guys. We will catch you next week. And like Alice said, there'll probably be lots of things coming up as well over the next few weeks
Yes.
regarding what we learn on Saturday and getting ready for Christmas. So until next week, it is bye from us.
Bye.